We're going to explore how a book centuries old might have predicted some pretty major scientific discoveries.
Oh,
We're taking a deep dive into excerpts from The Code of the Universe Hidden in the Quran, exploring the secrets of natural laws
okay.
to see just how these ancient verses seem to align with modern science.
It's a fascinating concept. I mean, that a text revealed long before, uh, you know, telescopes or microscopes
Right.
could contain such accurate descriptions of the universe and the natural world.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, how much wisdom did these ancient civilizations possess
Yeah.
that we're only just now rediscovering?
Right. Okay, so let's unpack this. The text starts by talking about a verse from the Quran that says, "And the heaven, we constructed it with strength, and indeed, we are its expander."
Okay.
Now, this verse might sound familiar because it echoes the Big Bang Theory.
Right.
The idea that the universe started from a single point
Yeah.
and has been expanding ever since.
Mm-hmm.
What's wild is that the Big Bang Theory only became a widely accepted scientific concept in the 20th century.
Precisely. Imagine the prevailing scientific understanding back when the Quran was first revealed.
Yeah.
People believed in a static, unchanging universe. So to have a text predating modern cosmology by centuries hint at an expanding universe, I mean, that's pretty mind-blowing.
It really makes you think about sources of knowledge, right? I
Yeah.
mean, was this just a lucky guess, a poetic metaphor, or something more profound? Let's look at another example. The water cycle. Evaporation, condensation, rain, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
The Quran actually describes this process in detail way before the scientific study of meteorology even existed.
One verse that stands out is this. Do you not see that Allah sends down rain from the sky and makes it flow as springs and rivers on the earth? It's not just that the Quran mentions rain, it's the way it describes the entire cycle.
Right.
The rain coming down, becoming springs and rivers nourishing the earth. It shows a clear understanding of this essential natural process.
Right.
Yeah.
And think about how people understood the water cycle back then. They didn't have the tools to study weather patterns like we do today.
Right.
So to have this knowledge laid out so clearly centuries ago, it's a testament to the depth of observation and understanding present in these ancient texts.
Absolutely. And this understanding extends beyond the Earth's surface. The Quran also offers a unique description of the sky, referring to it as a protected ceiling.
Here's where it gets really interesting. This description might actually connect to what modern science tells us about the Earth's atmosphere.
Exactly. We now know that the Earth's atmosphere acts as a shield. We have the ozone layer, which filters out harmful UV radiation from the sun, and the magnetosphere,
Right.
an invisible force field created by the Earth's magnetic field that deflects solar winds,
Wow.
charged particles constantly streaming from the sun.
So the Quran's protected ceiling could be interpreted as a reference to these atmospheric layers that literally protect us from the harsh conditions of outer space.
It's a compelling connection, isn't it?
Right.
This poetic language from centuries ago aligns with what we've discovered through scientific observation and exploration.
Okay, now let's dive into something even more complex. The human brain and how we make decisions. The text highlights a verse that mentions the forelock
Right.
in the context of being accountable for one's actions.
This is where the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern science gets particularly fascinating.
Okay.
Modern neuroscience has identified the prefrontal cortex,
Okay.
located at the front of our brains,
Right.
as the area responsible for planning, understanding consequences, and making complex decisions.
Yeah?
It plays a crucial role in our moral compass and ethical behavior.
So could the forelock mentioned in the Quran be an allegorical reference to this very part of the brain, the part that essentially guides our choices and dictates whether we act ethically or not?
It's certainly a thought-provoking interpretation. And again, it raises the question, did ancient civilizations possess an understanding of the brain and its functions that we are only just beginning to grasp with modern tools and technology?
This is seriously making me rethink what I thought I knew about ancient knowledge.
Yeah.
All right, ready to go even deeper.
Sure.
Let's plunge into the depths of the ocean where the Quran describes layered darkness and internal waves.
What's remarkable about this description is that the concept of internal waves, which occur beneath the ocean's surface, is a relatively recent scientific discovery.
Wow.
It wasn't something easily observable without specialized equipment and a deep understanding of oceanography.
So how could a text from centuries ago have alluded to a phenomenon that remained hidden from science for so long. It's almost like the Quran was hinting at something that modern science would later confirm.
And that's precisely what makes this so intriguing.
Yeah.
Each of these examples, the expanding universe, the water cycle, the sky as a protective ceiling, the brain's role in decision-making, and even the internal waves in the ocean,
Right.
points to a potential alignment between the Quran's descriptions and scientific discoveries made centuries later.
It really makes you wonder what other secrets might be hidden within these ancient texts.
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it,
Yeah.
that we might be rediscovering truths that were already known to ancient civilizations.
Right.
But it also raises important questions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some might argue that these are just poetic metaphors,
Right.
not intended to be literal scientific descriptions.
Right.
What do you think about that?
That's a really good point. I mean, how do we separate metaphorical language from potentially scientific insights when looking at ancient texts? It's like trying to decipher a code that's been lost for centuries. But here's what I find interesting. The level of detail and accuracy in some of these descriptions goes beyond simple poetic imagery.
Right, take the internal waves, for example.
Yeah.
To even describe such a phenomenon suggests a level of observation and understanding of the natural world
Yeah.
that goes beyond what was common knowledge centuries ago.
Mm,
It begs the question, how did they acquire this knowledge?
right.
Was it through, meticulous observation?
Mm.
Intuition? Or something else entirely?
Okay, so let's say for a moment that these verses do contain genuine scientific insights.
Okay.
What does that mean for our understanding of the relationship between science and spirituality?
Right.
Are they two sides of the same coin? Or completely separate realms of knowledge?
That's a question that philosophers and theologians have been grappling with for centuries.
Right.
Some believe that science and spirituality are inherently incompatible,
Hmm.
while others see them as complementary ways of understanding the universe and our place in it.
Yeah.
This exploration of the Quran and its potential scientific insights adds another layer to this complex conversation.
It's almost like these ancient texts are offering us a different lens through which to view the world, one that doesn't necessarily contradict scientific findings, but perhaps enhances or expands our understanding of them.
Exactly. And it challenges us to think beyond our current paradigms.
Right.
What if there's more to the universe than we can currently observe or measure with our scientific instruments?
Right.
What if ancient wisdom traditions hold clues to unlocking mysteries that science is only beginning to grasp?
So for our listeners who are just joining us on this deep dive, let's recap what we've discovered so far. We're exploring the idea that the Quran, a text revealed centuries ago, contains verses that seem to align with modern scientific discoveries. We've looked at the verse about the expanding universe, which echoes the Big Bang theory. We've explored the Quran's description of the water cycle, accurate even before modern meteorology. We've delved into the idea that the protected ceiling mentioned in the Quran could refer to the Earth's atmosphere and its protective layers. And we've even discussed how the mention of the forelock could be interpreted as an allegorical reference to the prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for decision-making and ethical behavior.
And let's not forget the Quran's description of layered darkness and internal waves in the ocean depths, a phenomenon only recently confirmed by modern science. Each of these examples presents a fascinating intersection between ancient wisdom and scientific understanding.
It's really mind-boggling to think that these insights might have been present in ancient texts all along, just waiting for us to catch up with the scientific discoveries. But what do we do with this knowledge?
Right.
How can we reconcile these seemingly disparate realms of science and spirituality?
I think the key is to approach these findings with a sense of curiosity and open-mindedness. It's not about proving or disproving anything, but rather about expanding our understanding of both the scientific and the spiritual dimensions of our existence.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's about recognizing that knowledge can come from a variety of sources, and that ancient wisdom traditions may hold valuable insights that can complement and enrich our scientific understanding of the world.
And who knows, maybe by exploring these connections, we might even stumble upon new scientific discoveries or gain a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things.
Speaking of interconnectedness, this whole discussion reminds me of something Carl Sagan once said.
Okay.
He talked about how science is not only compatible with spirituality, but is a profound source of spirituality. Do you think there's a connection there? Could exploring these scientific insights within the Quran lead to a more spiritual understanding of the universe?
That's a beautiful thought. I think there's definitely a sense of awe and wonder that comes from contemplating the vastness and complexity of the universe,
Hmm.
both from a scientific and a spiritual perspective. And when we find these unexpected points of convergence between um, ancient wisdom and modern science,
Yeah.
it can deepen that sense of wonder and mystery.
It's like realizing that we're part of something much larger than ourselves,
Yeah,
something that connects us to the past, the present, and the future.
absolutely. And perhaps by exploring these connections, we can gain a greater appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things, the unity underlying the diversity of the universe.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets are hidden within these ancient texts just waiting to be discovered?
Yeah,
What other bridges can we build between science and spirituality?
those are questions worth pondering. And as we continue to delve deeper into the mysteries of the universe and the wisdom of the ages, we may find that the boundaries between these realms are not as rigid as we once thought.
It's like we've been on this incredible treasure hunt, you know,
Mhm.
uncovering these fascinating connections between the Quran and modern science. And who knows what other treasures are still out there, buried within ancient texts, waiting to be unearthed.
It really does. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
Right.
What if we've only just scratched the surface
Yeah.
of what these ancient wisdom traditions have to offer?
Right.
What if by combining the insights of both science and spirituality, we can unlock a deeper understanding of the universe and our place in it?
I think that's what makes this whole deep doc so exciting.
Yeah.
It's not just about these specific examples we've discussed,
Hmm.
but about the bigger questions they're raised.
Yeah.
About like the nature of knowledge, the limits of our understanding,
Mhm.
and the potential for, different ways of knowing to complement and enrich each other.
It's a reminder that knowledge isn't confined to a single discipline or a particular time period.
Mm.
It's a tapestry woven from threads of observation, intuition, revelation, and scientific inquiry, spanning across cultures and centuries.
And maybe, just maybe, by embracing this broader perspective, we can begin to bridge the gap,
Yeah.
between science and spirituality, recognizing that both offer valuable pieces to the puzzle of existence.
Imagine the possibilities, right? If we could truly integrate these different ways of knowing, it could lead to breakthroughs in our understanding of consciousness, the nature of reality, and the interconnectedness of all things.
It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? And it all circles back to that initial idea that there might be more to the universe than meets the eye, more than we can currently grasp with our limited scientific understanding. Perhaps ancient wisdom traditions like the Quran offer a glimpse into these deeper mysteries.
So for our listeners who have journeyed with us on this deep dive, I encourage you to continue exploring these connections.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and consider different perspectives.
Exactly. Keep that curiosity alive. Stay open to new possibilities, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to uncover the next hidden gem of ancient wisdom that sheds new light on our understanding of the universe and ourselves. Until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep those brains buzzing.